Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Throughout the program, few questions seem to dominate our discussion. The first, are we writing our agenda or Allah's agenda? Should we participate or not? And then, consequently, we arrive to the most fundamental question: what did the Prophet ﷺ do? This last question, I happen to like it so much for two reasons. One, because this is the normal Islamic attitude. When we debate something, when we disagree, when we are in a state of crisis, then we refer to the example of the Prophet ﷺ and to his guidance and to the Quran. The second reason is, in North America, we are a young, growing community. And we also see the rest of the society, if we think optimistically, as in a state of transition. We always say we want to change this society. We want to transform it. So let us think this way, that America, seeing the crisis which is burdening its conscience right now, the social, the psychological problems which is burdening its shoulders, is looking for a solution. And we want to take part and contribute towards that solution. So let us see ourselves exactly like the Prophet ﷺ and the early generation of the Sahaba. Let us look at America as a society and a country in a state of transition, waiting for our contribution. No matter what course this contribution might take. What did the Prophet ﷺ did? What did he do? This is a good question, but when we ask this question was asked last night, there is a host of other questions that had to go with it. What did he do? When, where, and why? Otherwise, we get a wrong message. A hadith was quoted last night when the Prophet ﷺ told his uncle Abu Talib that if they put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left hand, so that I might give up my mission, I'm not going to do it until I die, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it prevail. This hadith was said not to shun away from participation, but from compromise. Not only compromise, but sell out, because they wanted him to give up his da'wah. So that's why he said that. It's not because he did not want to participate. It is because he did not want to sell out. He did not want to compromise. So participation was not ruled out because of this hadith. What did Abu Bakr do? What did Umar do? What did Uthman and Ali and Umar ibn Abdul Aziz and Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi did? All these people did different things because they lived at different times, they have different priorities, they have different emphasis, they have different challenges. You have to see the whole picture. As long as participation does not mean assimilation or compromise or sellout, then it is needed. A dynamic and positive Muslim always takes part. Sayyid Qutb developed a very important Islamic concept. He called it al-uzla al-shu'uriyya. That's psychological isolation. I don't think that's a proper translation, but What he means that a Muslim always feels that he's unique, he's different. He stays away from what other people are doing. But that's only psychological. That's a mental situation. But in actual life, he takes part. He intermingles with people, he interacts, and he cooperates. So these are two different things. Whether we are writing our agenda or Allah's agenda, this question, this contradiction we are trying to create here is irrelevant in Islam. In the case of the Muslim Ummah, there is nothing called our agenda and Allah's agenda. This question is rightly asked when we talk about a Jahili society. But we assume and we take it for granted when we talk about a mission-oriented society, a Muslim society, then their agenda is Allah's agenda. The difference is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the agenda for us, that is the absolute ideal. What we do is try to struggle to realize this ideal. And in this course, we cannot always attain the ideal as it is. We fall short. But the more we struggle, the more we try to perfect our action and try to come close to the ideal, the better Muslims we are. In formulating our agenda, I think the first job we should do is a housekeeping job. We should try to see where our strength is, where we can make a difference, where we can make a difference in the American life, in the American society, where our consent and endorsement is needed, and where our contribution is needed, is vital to the society. In terms of number, how many are we? Are we strong enough? Do we speak in the name of a large, strong constituency? In terms of representation, whom do we represent? In terms of relations, what kind of social relations we have with all sectors of the American society? In terms of resources, what resources we have? I think we have a lot of potentials to create a strong political force in this society, a force that will make people listen to us, will make people consider our opinion and become sensitive to our presence in North America whenever they are taking a decision or making policies. It remains to organizations like ISNA to tell us how many Muslim voters we have in North America. But one thing for sure, we represent a large spectrum, a wide range, diverse population in North America. We represent Arabs, we represent blacks, we represent Asians, we represent white Americans, we represent immigrants, we represent indigenous people, we represent a lot of people. We come from different places, and our community is so rich and diverse. That's important. Where does America need us? We have to think of that. America, talking about the local scene, we know our community also is composed of different kind of people. Along class lines, we have professionals, we have business people, we have people in the working force. Among ethnic groups, as I mentioned, we have a diverse affiliation to all kinds of people in this country. And each one of these groups have its own special and particular contribution to make. We have scientists, we have academicians, we have engineers, we have doctors, we have business people. Each one of them, if we develop our potential, will have a very important contribution to make. We represent the whole Muslim world. We have some 50 independent Islamic states which has representation in our community. We have the same, probably same number of countries or more where we have sizable, important minorities also. So we have a very important representation which, if we use it wisely, we can make a difference in the American society, in the decision-making process in this country, especially in international affairs. There are so many issues which does concern us. In terms of social reform, we have a contribution to make in the family life. The American family is facing great crisis. I think as Muslims, we are in a good position to make a contribution. In terms of morality crisis, we have solutions to offer. In terms of civil rights and human rights inside America, we are more concerned with these issues more than anyone else because of two reasons. First, it affects us directly more than anyone person. I myself, I am a black person. I am an Arab, and I am a Muslim. And in each one of these, I have been discriminated against. And I see this every day in my life. Questions of civil rights, of human rights, is important to us. We are the one who benefit from that. We are the one who are suffering from that. And we are the one who also have solution to these problems. America, being a country which is increasingly getting involved in international affairs, also needs us. First, I mentioned that if we use wisely our relation with the Muslim world, we have a lot to say about the American policy, American foreign policy, at least in those regions in the world. So the question of international cooperation and international peace concern us on one hand, and we can play a role in it on the other hand. Where the American legitimate interest lies in the world, we have a say. If the Middle East is important for America, then the main issues in the Middle East, one is Palestine, two is the oil, three is the geopolitics of the Middle East, the significance of the strategic position of the Middle East and the Middle East nations. In Africa, what concerns America concerned us, and we can play a role in that too. Africa is a Muslim continent. The majority of the African population is Muslims. The majority of the African states are Muslim states. The main problems of famine, refugees, civil wars, all concern us. Even the apartheid system in South America, which seems to, for one reason or another, concern the American government and the American public, we have something to say about that. We are in Asia, and if the movement of civil rights in the Soviet Union concerns anybody, it concerns the Muslim more than anyone else. All the hot spots now in the Soviet Union are Muslim areas. what I wanted to say, whether in internal policies or in international affairs, we have a lot of potentials to influence and affect the course of policies the United States of America is trying to take. We have a special particular interest in that, and we have the resources to make a difference also. If we are well organized, if our priorities are right, then we could not be ignored. Our endorsement is needed, our consent is needed, our contribution is needed. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله.